Mr. Speaker, will you please call the House to order?
The House will come to order. In the absence of clergy, let us pause for a moment of silence. Visitors are invited to join the members in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. A quorum being present, the clerk will read the Journal of Monday, April 23rd. Mr. Morelli.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to dispense with the further reading of the Journal of Monday, April 23rd, and that the same stand approved.
Without objection, so ordered. Mr. Morelli.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, before I give our schedule for the day, let me note that on this day in 1962, the word or the initials MIT became the first television image transmitted by communications satellite. The transmission was delivered from MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology's Lincoln Laboratory Station in Camp Parks, California, to Milestone Hill in Westford, Massachusetts, 2,700 miles away. And if they could only see now the images that are flashed by satellite on television today, what a difference that would be. And did you know, under the heading of that, the oldest Santa Claus school is located in Albion, New York. Albion sits within the 139th Assembly District, which belongs to our dear colleague, Mr. Hawley, who's not here to hear this great introduction. Charles Howard became well known and sought after in his community for his ability to portray Santa Claus. He then opened a school, the Charles W. Howard Santa Claus School, in 1937, where people to this day can learn the methods and philosophies of portraying Kris Kringle. Howard became so well known at being Santa that from 1948 to 1965, he could be seen as jolly old St. Nick in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York City. So this will be a jolly day as well, I am certain. And let me give an outline of our work for the day. Members have on their desks a main calendar as well as debate list. After introductions and housekeeping, and I note there are a number of introductions today, we're joined by people from all over the state. Once we've done that, we will continue our consent of the new bills on the calendar, beginning with calendar number 744, which people will find on page 80 of the calendar. We will also be taking up bills from the debate list, including our Earth Day package, and we will be calling the following committees off the floor. So if you're a member of any of these committees, please pay special attention to the announcements from the desk for the call of these committees. Aging, Consumer Affairs, Election Law, Labor, and Tourism. Majority members should note that there will be the need for a Democratic conference at the conclusion of our session today. And as always, I will consult with my colleagues and friends on the minority side throughout the day to see if they have any conference needs. So with that, Mr. Speaker, any housekeeping you have would be appropriate to take up at this time, as well as introductions.
No housekeeping, Mr. Morelli, but we will go directly to introductions. And for that purpose, Mr. Brindisi.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today for purposes of an introduction, a very special introduction for me. And as you know, Mr. Speaker, this week many school-age children are on spring break. And while many children get to go to Disney World or Myrtle Beach or some fun in the sun location, my children get to spend their spring break at the most exciting destination, Albany, New York. So with me today in the chamber, Mr. Speaker, are my children, Lily Brindisi and Anthony Brindisi, and we are joined by several guests in the rear of the chamber. My lovely wife, Erica, is here with us today, as well as several of my children's friends. We're joined by Danielle Marino and her children, Anthony, Joey, Christopher, and Isabella, Cindy Hudson and her daughter, Ariana, Jeanette Martinez and her children, Joshua and Ashley. Mr. Speaker, this is the best spring break they're ever going to have. So please give them a warm introduction, sir.
on behalf of your father, Assemblymember Deasy, the Speaker, and all the members, we welcome this quite distinguished group here to the floor of the Assembly. As family, you are always welcome here. You always have the privileges of the floor. You have brought quite a bit of sunshine yourselves to these chambers. Thank you for coming. We hope you enjoy this time with us and with your dad. You certainly have made him happy, and that's always good for us. Thank you all so very much for being here, and to the Brindisi family. Mr. Cusick for an introduction.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, earlier this month, this House passed a privileged resolution commending the New York State AOH and New York State LAOH in commending them for honoring the 1918 Freedom Mandate. The 1918 Freedom Mandate is in remembrance of the 1918 Democratic election, which ratified the April 24, 2016 Easter Proclamation and created the free Irish Parliament that now exists. In 2016, Mr. Speaker, we had a resolution honoring the Easter Rising. Today, we want to recognize the members of the AOH and the Ladies AOH for honoring the 1918 Freedom Mandate. So, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to ask you to welcome the New York State President of the AOH, Mr. Victor Vogel, the New York State Ladies AOH President, Jacqueline Clute, the New York State AOH Freedom for All Ireland Committee Chairman, Mr. Martin Galvin, the New York State Ladies AOH Freedom for All Ireland Committee Chairwoman, Dolores Desch. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the members of the American Irish legislators here in the state capitol, I'd like to ask you to welcome the members of the New York State AOH and Ladies AOH and offer them all the privileges of the House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
And Ms. Nolan for an additional recognition.
My colleagues, I really appreciate everything that was just said about this wonderful organization, but it's a particularly happy day for me. First time visit to Albany, my wonderful cousin Bob Nolan, who is the president of the Bronx County AOH for the last 5 years, a member of our city's Health and Hospital Corporation, and even after 30 years, he retired from the Bronx Borough President's Office. He's active, as I said, at Health and Hospitals, but also as the president of a senior center, and is just, in addition to talking just as fast as I do, loves politics, loves his family, and yet, even with all that, it's his first time visit to Albany. So please, colleagues, extend a warm welcome to him. I'm so happy he's here today. Made my day. Thank you.
Certainly, on behalf of Mr. Cusick, Ms. Nolan, Mr. Dinowitz, Ms. Melissa Miller, Mr. Finch, and all the Irish American legislators, the Speaker and all the legislators, we welcome this extraordinary group here to the New York State Assembly. We extend to you the privileges of the floor. This is the People's House, and your celebration of freedom in Ireland is synonymous with the freedom that we enjoy here in the United States. We treasure it, as I'm sure you treasure yours. Thank you so much for being here, and we're honored to have you. Thank you. Mr. Santa Barbara.